Monday morning to everybody. Hope your weekend went well. Of course, if you're into college basketball, we had the NCAA tournament, March Madness going on over the weekend. And if you're into current baseball, you had opening day weekend. Lots of viewing of the MLB action. But if you're more like me and like the old school stuff, we have to go back and relive it through games like Strat-O-Matic. So here we are. And I was thinking about this morning. I was watching some YouTube videos on nutrition and how important it is to start your morning right with a good meal, and not, what the right things to eat for breakfast are to keep you full all day, and not snacking during the day and so forth. And so I thought about trying to make this analogy here, perhaps with the live YouTube content of cards and dice and or computer baseball games out there. As far as I know, I'm the earliest one to start during the day, so I am responsible for starting your day off correctly with good nutrition in your YouTube baseball consumption. So it's my responsibility to get that started on the right foot. That way, when guys like Uncle Ron and Spokane Steve and RJL and Dave Gardner and Kirk Berglund and countless others come on and do live streams, you're already, you're already filled up. So you're not, you've got the good metabolism going. So I take some pressure in that and responsibility in that to make sure I get this off to a good start for you. All right. So we are now moving on to Friday, June the 19th. Fresh set of games, fresh set of opponents. We're going to start in Fenway Park, as always, try to go east to west with how I'm doing things. So we start in the east, of course, with Boston. It's about as far as east as you can get, I think. Haven't really checked it out. Maybe Baltimore or Toronto might be further east. I don't know. But as far as I can imagine, Boston's probably the farthest east you can get. And they're playing the Yankees. First, I'm sure they played before. It's the first time they played in a while. We are at Fenway Park, which is very hitter friendly. Singles are 1 to 19 for left, 1 to 15 for right. Home runs 1 to 7 left and 1 to 10 for right. It is game number 448 of the total project. Yankees won this game real world 10 to 5. And we look at our pitching matchup. Two left-handers, Ron Guidry and Bruce Hurst, are on the mound for each of their teams. Yankees come into this game 38 and 28. If you remember the last game they played against Baltimore, they had a lead. And unfortunately for the Yankees, Dave Righetti blew that lead, and it cost him the game. So he blew a save and took the loss. Hello there, Wizzy. Good to see you. So not sure if Lou Piniella is going to go back to Righetti in this game. He may, try to find somebody else to close it out. If it gets to that, might go to Stoddard or somebody. We'll wait and see what kind of confidence he has in Righetti. And with the lefties on the mound for both teams are going with a heavy right-handed hitting lineup. The Yankees have no left-handers in the lineup. A couple switches, but that's it. In fact, just one switch, I believe. Tollison's the only switch there. Everybody else is right-handed, unless Meacham is a switch. I think Meacham is a right-handed as well. No, he's right-handed according to this. So, yeah, everybody's right-handed. And, of course, in the Red Sox lineup, the only lefty they have in the lineup is Wade Boggs. You're not going to take him out regardless of who's pitching. So, heavy right-handed hitting lineup. And we'll go to the Strat computer and get the up-to-the-minute replay stats for both of these teams. Bruce Hurst, if we look at his numbers, real world, he was 15 and 13 with a 4.41 ERA. On the replay, he's been struggling. He's 3 and 8 with a 6.08 ERA, 93 innings pitched and 107 hits allowed, 45 walks and 85 strikeouts. So Bruce Hurst trying to get things back on track for the Red Sox against the Yankees. Yankees still without Ricky Henderson or Don Mattingly. They will be coming back shortly off injury, but right now they got to play without him for a little bit longer, about another week. I believe they come back on June 24th, but don't quote me on it. We got our dice. And Willie Randolph on the replay is hitting 276, 3 homers, 28 driven in. He hit 305 real world. And before the first pitch, we have the ceremonial first sip. And that is some good coffee. All right, so Bruce Hurst will be taking on Willie Randolph to start us off from Fenway Park, as they say in Boston. Oh, that blue, the D20 didn't make it, so let's re-roll that. Make sure they all go in there where they're supposed to be. 1-7 for Randolph is going to be a base on balls against Bruce Hurst. Leadoff walk starts the game. Let's look at pitcher hold quotients. Bruce Hurst is a -2 hold. Sullivan's a 0, so he's a -2. Guidry's a +1. Guidry is a +2 hold, but Zerone's a -1 for a net +1. So with a -2 there, keep that in mind. So if Randolph gets the lead, it would be down to a 1-15, 2 for being held and the -2 for the pitcher-catcher quotient. But he needs a 3. That's the only way he can get the good lead is on a 3. And he can't get it, so it's a moot point. So he'll hold. And here's Henry Cotto, center fielder. Henry Cotto hitting 200 and just 50 at bats. He's got 2 homers, 7 driven in. He hit 235 in the real season. 2-8, and that's a strikeout. First strikeout for Hurst. Takes care of Cotto. 1 down for Gary Ward, the first baseman. Ward on the replay hitting 207, 7 homers, 28 driven in. He hit 248 in the real season. Nothing on the Havoc. 1-3, and that's a solid double, and a 1-13. That's a 7, so it's a double, but it's 2 stars. So Randolph will have to stop at third base. So second and third with 1 out for the Yankees. They got something cooking in the first for Mr. May, Dave Winfield, cleanup hitter. Winfield hitting 248 on the replay, 12 homers, 35 driven in. He at 275 real world. And the the Red Sox are going to play in. They don't give up a cheap run. They got the infield in. See what Winfield can do. 6-7. It's a 1-12 single, and that's a base hit, so it didn't matter where the infield was. It's a 1-star single for Winfield. RBI single. Randolph scores. 1-0 Yankees. Going to third is Gary Ward. So Winfield keeps the train moving. Runners at the corners. 1 out for Ron Kittle, designated hitter. I'm sorry, in this game he's actually playing left field. Usually he DHs most of the time. But actually I had it backwards here. One thing I forgot to correct on the score sheet. Willie Randolph is actually the DH in this game. So used to putting him at second base. He was actually the DH in this game. So fix that. All right. So Ron Kittle, the left fielder, is up. Kittle on the replay hitting 313, 11 homers, 29 driven in. He at 277 on the real season. Winfield not being held. Yankees trying to add to the lead. Red Sox playing back for the double play to try to get out of the inning. That's a 6-9, and that's a ground ball second base C, so that will score the run on the C as they were trying to get the double play, but it didn't work. And Kittle gets an RBI ground out to put the Yankees ahead 2-0. That'll put Winfield at second base with 2 outs for Len Sakata, the third baseman. Sakata hitting 216 on the replay. No homers, 4 driven in. He at 267 real world. That's a 2. Chance for a balk or pass ball. Pass ball chance on Sullivan. He's a 14. And he will commit the pass ball. That'll move Winfield to third base. Pass ball on Sullivan. Puts Winfield at third now with 2 outs. Get a 6-6, and that's a solid single for Len Sakata, and it's 3-0 Yankees. Yankees ahead 3-0. And Hurst is not off to a good start, to say the least. Here's Rick Cerrone. Cerrone hitting 246 on the replay, 3 homers, 15 driven in at 243 on the real season. That's a 110, and that's a ground ball to short, and the inning's finally over. But the Yankees put 3 runs on the board against Bruce Hurst. Remember, they won the real game 10-5, so they're off to a good start to hit that mark. Go to the bottom of the first, it is Yankees 3, Boston coming to bat. And they have turned a 3-0 lead over to Ron Guidry to see if he can hold it. Look at the numbers on Guidry. Real world, 5-8 with a 3.67 ERA. On the replays, 1-0, but his ERA is 5.89. 18 innings pitched, 21 hits, 7 walks, 13 strikeouts. He has not had that many starts. And he's going to start off facing Ellis Burks. Burks on the replay hitting 286, 8 homers, 18 driven in. He hit 272 real world. 2-9, and that's a double 1-2, and that is a 2. So it will be a leadoff double for Ellis Burks, and maybe this is going to be a slugfest. Who knows? Burks with a leadoff double brings up Marty Barrett. Barrett on the replay hitting 308, no homers, 15 driven in. He hit 293 on the real season. 4-8, and that's a 1-14 double. Back-to-back doubles by the Red Sox to start the bottom of the first, and they cut that lead right away to 3-1. So they got their hitting shoes on, and here comes Wade Boggs, third baseman. He's hitting 355 on the replay, 12 homers, 32 driven in. He at 363 real world. That's a 6-7 for Guidry, and that's a single 2 stars. That'll score a run again. All of a sudden, it's 3-2, and there's still nobody out. So Guidry, not on his game either. This could be a bullpen game early for both teams. So here's Jim Rice. Wade Boggs not being held at first base. Rice hitting 270 on the replay, 4 homers, 28 driven in. He at 277 in the real season. Guidry trying to settle in. 6-7. Ground ball second base X. That is going to be Meacham, 4E17. Normally it'd be Randolph, but they're DHing Randolph today, and it's now Meacham, 4E17. So this could be a problem. 4-12. He'll at least get to it, I think, but the double play chance just went out the window. But he's at least trying to get a force play if possible. So we got a 4 and a 12, and it's actually a G3. The only play is at first base. And that is a 12 there, and he is an E17 at second base. There is no 12, but it's going to be a G3. G3, so the only play for Meacham is to go to first base, and Boggs will take second. So by not having Randolph playing second base, cost the Yankees a potential double play there. All right, here's Don Baylor. Good morning, Dan. Happy Monday to you. Coffee is around. Dan, I don't know if you got a chance to see my slow playthrough in Fall Classic, but I know you're a Fall Classic veteran, so if you find any mistakes I made, please let me know so I can clean those up. I know one mistake I did make is when there was a single on a left-right split on that 26, it's an automatic 2-base advancement, and I actually checked the chart for the advancement. The play happened to be where the runner got 2 bases, but it shouldn't have been a check. It should have been automatically 2 bases. And that's something I'm, missed, but hopefully I will correct going forward to remember. It's just something I got to remember. Little small detail. Here's Don Baylor. He's hitting 242, 6 homers, 31 driven in. Hit 245 in the real season. Boggs, the tying run, is in scoring position with 1 out. That is a 4-8. 4-8, and that's trouble for Guidry again. 1-14 is a double. That'll tie the game at 3 apiece here in the first inning. Neither pitcher on their game at all. Double for Don Baylor. And just like that, it's 3-3, and the Red Sox are still batting. Remember, it was 10-5 real world. Here's Dwight Evans. Evans hitting 342 on the replay, 14 homers, 46 driven in. He at 305 real world. 212 against the lefty Guidry is a ballpark single check. It's a 1-15. That's a base hit. It's only 1 star, so Baylor will stop at third, but the train keeps moving. Runners on the corners, only 1 out for Dave Henderson, the right fielder. Henderson, the right fielder. Dan, I think the other one I think I corrected myself when I said it incorrectly at the first time is the failed home run on the 65 chart. At first, I said it was a default fly out to center field, but that was the failed ballpark home run. The default 65 failure goes to the out chart or fast action card or whatever it is you choose to use. So, but I think there's a couple of things I did wrong, but I corrected myself right after that. So I'm hoping I did anyway. So it was mainly for new people that hadn't seen the game, but always like to get feedback from the veterans to make sure I'm doing it correctly. I don't want to put something out incorrectly. Good morning, Kathy. It's good coffee, of course. All right, so Henderson is up with the runners at the corners and 1 out. Yankees looking for the double play. Henderson's hitting 253, 11 homers, 28 driven in. He only hit 234 real world. Havoc roll, nothing happening. 1-2, and that is a single. There's an anti-clutch here, but there's only 1 out, not 2 outs, so the single's going to stand, and the Red Sox take the lead 4-3. Yankees turned a 3-0 lead over to Guidry in the top of the first, and he couldn't hold it. He could not hold it. Red Sox take a 4-3 lead. Runners at first and second, still only 1 out for Spike Owen. Owen, the shortstop, hitting 209, a homer and 8 driven in. And the Yankees have Rich Bordy up in the bullpen already. 2-6 for Spike Owen. And that's a ground ball shortstop base, so he gets a Giovanni's Taylor shot. Taylor-made double play to get him out of the inning. 6-4-3. Giovanni's Taylor Shop in Lemoyne, Pennsylvania. Be sure to check them out. Tell them Demo sent you. They might give you a discount. They are the unofficial sponsor of the channel, but the official sponsor of the Giovanni's Taylor Shop tailor-made double play of the game. But a 4-score Abraham Lincoln inning by the Red Sox. At the end of 1, it is 4-3. Will we get any pitching is the question. We shall have to find out. Let me check what you're saying here, Dan. Let me take a look here real quick. Get an out G from pitcher's card. Oh, okay. That's a house rule, though. It's not in the rule book. So, yeah, individual house rules are always nice. The only house rule I applied when I was doing that slow playthrough was the replay gamer taking that 31 result and making it a range check. That's the only house rule I think I did on that. So, anyway, Bobby Meacham will lead things off for the Yankees. He's hitting 385. Of course, he's only had 13 at-bats. He had 271 real world, so he hasn't had enough at-bats to matter right at the moment. Hurst 4-5 against the righty Meacham. That's a fly to center, and that's hauled in out there by Burks. 1 away. Good start for Hurst to get that leadoff man out. Here's Wayne Tollison, switch hitting shortstop. He's hitting 223. 2 homers, 17 driven in. He at 221 real world. 5-3. That's a fly ball right field X. We're looking at Henderson. 2E16 for Henderson. 2 and a 7. Should get to that, I would think. 2 and a 7 is an F2. That's a 9, and he's an E16. There is no 9 there, so Henderson will make the play. 2 up and 2 down. And, of course, this coming Saturday is the opening day or the start of the NBC Game of the Week. 1979 Fall Classic. Baseball is the engine. It's going to be the Phillies at the Cardinals. Randy Lurch against Pete Vukovich is the pitching matchup in that. But that was the actual NBC Game of the Week on the first weekend in 1979. Here's Willie Randolph. 5-8, and that's a strikeout for Hurst, his second. And a 1-2-3 inning for Bruce Hurst. Talk about turning it around. He certainly did it. Now it's up to Guidry to do the same thing in kind and not have to force Piniella to go to the bullpen so early. But you can't let the game get away from you either. All right, Mark Sullivan will lead things off for the Red Sox. Light hitting catcher. He's hitting 169 on the replay. 2 homers, 10 driven in. And, oh, by the way, he hit 169 real world. So he's had 77 at bats. He gets 100. So he's almost right at the halfway point. 1-8, and that's a strikeout. So first strikeout for Guidry. Maybe facing Mark Sullivan gets him off to a good start. I don't know. Here's Ellis Burks. He led off the game with a double and scored. Kind of set the tone. 6-7, and that's a ground ball. Second base X. Again, we're going to Meacham. Again, Randolph's the DH in this game. Meacham 4-17. 4-5, that's probably going to cost him a hit by putting Meacham out there. 4-5 is definitely a single. That's a 12, and he is an E17. No 12, but it does cost him a base hit. Willie Randolph would have made that play. But Piniella decided to give Randolph the DH and put Meacham at second base for whatever reason. And Ellis Burks is going to try to get a lead, 5 or a 6. Does not get it, so he'll hold. And here is Marty Barrett. 111 for Barrett, and that's a ballpark single check. 1-15, that's a 13. So the hitter-friendly Fenway Park comes through for the offense. First and second, 1 out for Wade Boggs. Guidry, and that's a 2, chance for a balk or a pass ball. Looking at a balk chance on Guidry, his balk rating is a 3. No balk. I'll keep that in mind, NH and NW. I will do some reading on that, Dan, and keep that in mind. Thank you for that little tidbit of helpfulness to kind of tweak things and make sure I don't miss anything. NH and NW. Here's Boggs, 4-5, and that's a strikeout for Guidry. Rare strikeout of Wade Boggs. But that's the 50-50 engine for you, is that he can strike out on the pitcher card. So 2 down in a clutch situation for Jim Rice. In the clutch, he loses a hit on 212 and on 3-6. So keep an eye on both of those numbers. 2-6 is a ground ball to short, and that will end the inning. So Guidry gets out of it, and both pitchers get back to some normality, I guess you call it, for the second inning. We go to the third. Score still holds at 4-3. Yankees will send up Cotto, Ward, and Winfield in their half of the third against Hurst. Both pitchers have fatigue of 7, but if they're not a little bit careful here, they will be bumped out of the game way before the 7th inning due to effectiveness or lack thereof. 1-6 is a ground ball to third for Cotto, and Wade Boggs will handle that easily. 1 down. And that will send up Gary Ward. Ward doubled his first time up. 1-5, and this time he will fly to center field. So that is 6 in a row retired by Hurst. And now here's Winfield. He had an RBI single his first time up. 2-9, and this time a 1-16 home run, and that is a 16, right on the number. Look at it again. Winfield's going to go deep to tie this game. 2-9 against the lefty is a 1-16 on the home run. And we have ourselves a tie ball game. Not sure how well it's shown up on the thing here, so I'll get a little closer for you. 2-9, Winfield 1-16 against the lefties. Right there where my pen's pointing. And as you can see, the double die is a 16. It's gone. Dave Winfield has tied the game at 4 apiece. Mr. May coming through here in June. How about that? For Winfield, let me get his numbers. First of all, I need to put the fly out to center for Gary Ward in the computer. Winfield hits home run number 13 on the replay. And it will be RBI number 37 for him. On Real World, he had 27 home runs and 97 runs batted in. Oops, let me drop my dice here. Hate doing that. So we are tied at 4. Hello, David. I guess it's David O, because you're an Orioles fan. I don't know any way to pick up those balk and pass ball numbers other than a computer, because that's what I have to use for them. You might want to maybe go into the Strat-O-Matic Facebook forums or something like that and ask a question. Maybe somebody knows. Maybe there's a chart somewhere. I know online they have roster sheets and ballpark charts, but I don't know of any balk and pass ball sheets that are out there. So the only way I know to get it is through the computer. It's the only way I can do it. Without the computer, I would not be able to use that rule. In fact, without the computer, I'd have to play this in advanced, not super advanced. There you go. I found in this hobby, if you can't get it off the Delphi form, it probably can't be gotten. So that's the first place I would go. Absolutely. Good point, Dan. That's what definitely, no matter what game it is, if you're looking for something at all, like if I have a fall classic question, the first place I go is a Delphi forum. And if they don't have it there, then it's probably not gettable. So we're tied at 4, and here's Ron Kittle, left fielder. 4-7, and that is a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Owen, 3E17 for Spike Owen. 3 and a 5, that's questionable, but I think he'll get to it. 3 and a 5, yep, G3, the pounds there, but nobody's on base to worry about, so it's irrelevant. But that's a 15. Spike Owen is an E17 at short with a 15. And there's a 15 right there for a one base error on Spike Owen. The E17s have 15, 16, and 17. That's a 15. E6 error on Mr. Spike Owen. Keeps the inning going for Len Cicada. You're welcome. I would definitely check the Delphi forums or Facebook group or something. One of those places. If it's out, if there's somewhere to get it, they will be. You'll get that information. 5-4 is the ballpark card. 1 to 10 for a single. That's a 4. So I'm sorry, 1 to 15 for a single. That's a 4. So it will be a base hit for Len Cicada. And again, it keeps the inning going. Now we're in a clutch situation for Rick Cerrone, the catcher. Cerrone grounded to short his first time up. 2-7, and that's a strikeout. Big strikeout there for Hurst. Strikeout number 3. But the Yankees tie it on the Winfield home run. Go the bottom of the 3rd. We are tied at 4 apiece. 4 apiece. Now Guidry's back out. And he'll be facing Don Baylor, Dewey Evans, and Dave Henderson. 5-6, and that's a strikeout for Guidry, his 3rd. Good start for Guidry. That'll bring up Dwight Evans. Evans singled his first time up. 1-8, and this is a base on balls. And I believe that's the first walk issued by Guidry. And Evans, no threat to really run. So he will not be held. And here's Dave Henderson. Henderson singled, RBI single his first time up. 210, and that's a ground ball shortstop A. Another Giovanni's Taylor Shop tailor-made double play. Look at it again, 210, ground ball shortstop A. That is another 6-4-3 double play. Giovanni's Taylor Shop tailor-made double play of the game. And that ends the inning. We played 3 complete from Fenway, and we're tied at 4 apiece. Remember, the Yankees won the game real world 10-5. So top of the 4th we go. Due up for the Yankees. It'll be the bottom of the order. Meacham, Tollison, and then Randolph. That's a 5-7, and that is a ground ball second base X. We're looking at Marty Barrett. He's a 2E11. Should get to this. You would think 2 and a 3. That's going to be close, but I think he'll get to it. 2 and a 3 is a G3. That's a 9, and he is an E11. No 9 there, so Marty Barrett makes the play. Throws Meacham out, 1 down. And that'll bring up Wayne Tollison, shortstop. 5-7, same exact place. Right back to Marty Barrett again, another 2E11 check. 2 and 11 is much better this time. 15 might be a little questionable. So he's an E11 with a 15. And there's a 15 right there. It was questionable. So Marty Barrett boots it. The E11 with a 15 right there. 15, 17, and 18 are the error chances. And he boots it. Second error of the game on the Red Sox by both middle infielders. So Tollison's aboard with 1 out. He's going to be looking to get the lead. Needs a 4 or a 6 to get the... No, he's not going to be good. He's not going to try it. Take that back. Not with the -2 hold. He's not. So Willie Randolph will step in instead. Tollison at first and 1 out. That's a 1-11 for Randolph. And that's a ground ball at third base A. That's going to be around the horn. 5-4-3 double play. Not the tailor-made double play, but a double play nonetheless that ends the inning. Boggs to Barrett to Evans. And they take care of business here in the top of the 4th. So we go to the bottom of the 4th. Still tied 4 apiece. Guidry seems to have settled down after that 4-run outburst. And he's going to be facing Spike Owen, Mark Sullivan, and Burke. So again, bottom of the order for the Red Sox. 4-3, switch hitter batting a right-handed will draw the base on balls. So a walk to Spike Owen. He could try to get a lead, but I think they're going to have Sullivan bunt instead because he's not a very good hitter, but he is a good bunter. So we're going to have Sullivan bunt. Sullivan, let's see where the bunt goes. 5. Let's get our bunt chart out. So on a 5, it goes to the first baseman, Gary Ward. And Sullivan with the corners in will now be a B bunter, so he basically needs a 9 or less to have a good bunt. 5 is definitely a good bunt right there, good sacrifice. So sacrifice hit. And it's just going to go 3 unassisted as Ward will just tag him coming up the line. So sacrifice successful for Mark Sullivan, and he has a productive out. And that will put Spike Owen in scoring position with 1 out for the top of the order in Ellis Burks. We get a 1-9, and that's a single, 1 star. So Owen will have to stop at third. But Ellis Burks 3 for 3 in this game. Now Ellis Burks has a chance to get a lead, needs a 5 or a 6 to do so. He gets the lead. He's going to go 19 being held as a 17, but the +1's an 18. 1-18. And he's in there. Stolen base. That takes the double play out of the equation. And we'll figure out for Ellis Burks what that stolen base represents on the replay. Real season, Ellis Burks stole 27 bases, got caught 6 times. This is only his third stolen base successfully. Been caught once. So he's only had 4 attempts, so good to get him an attempt there, and he steals it. And now, runners at second and third, 1 out. Marty Barrett, the batter. The Yankees are going to play back though. They don't want that plus giving up 2 runs. Still early in the game, and we're tied. Here's Barrett, 4-4. That's a catcher X. Looking at Cerrone, 3-E-0. Well, we know he can't make an error, but we're going to roll, make sure there's no rare play, and there is none. So he's a 3, and that's a 9. So we go to the catcher spot. 3 and a 9 on the catcher. 3 and a 9 is a P/F. So we're looking at the wild pitch rating of Guidry to see if a pass ball has occurred. Guidry's wild pitch rating is a 5. And it is a 5, so it's a pass ball on Sullivan, and that will bring home the go-ahead run. Pass ball on Cerrone, I should say. Because Guidry's wild pitch rating was a 5, and that's a 5, so it's going to be a pass ball, and now the infield will come in with a runner at third and only 1 out, and they're down by a run. So now they're going to be forced to bring the infield in. Against Marty Barrett. 3-7, and it doesn't matter whether you played single 2 stars. So the pass ball really didn't matter either. So both these runs are going to be earned because the single would make them earned. So the pass ball really was irrelevant, as it turns out. And the Red Sox lead at 6-4, and now the Yankee bullpen up in earnest. Rich Bordy, he is their long relief guy. He can go 4 innings. So Rich Bordy is loosening. In fact, he might come in. They like to get Guidry to finish the inning, but it may not be possible. We'll wait and see. I'll let Guidry pitch to the lefty Boggs and see what happens after that. 4-7, and that is a walk. So that's going to be it for Guidry right there. They can't go any further with him. He just didn't have it. Just did not have it at all. And so Guidry is going to go just 3 1/3 innings. He's going to be charged with 10 hits, 6 runs, all earned, but still responsible for these 2. Looks like he walks 3, and he strikes out 3. So Rich Bordy is charged with coming in and cleaning up the mess that Guidry has just put all over the ball game. So +2 for Bordy makes him a +1 as well. So Rich Bordy, 3-1, 7.64 ERA, and no saves in the real season. And we'll see what he's done on the replay. Mr. Bordy, where are you? There you are. Rich Bordy. On the replay is 1-0 with a 6.08 ERA, so he's done a little bit better than he did in real world. He inherits runners at first and second with 1 out, and Jim Rice, the batter. Not the best place to inherit your spot, but when you're a relief pitcher, you don't have that luxury sometimes. So Bordy's going to have to come in and try to get out of the mess. 5-9, and he does it. He gives up an in-home run, a 3-run home run right off the bat. Look at that. 5-9 is an in-home run to Jim Rice. So Rice greets Rich Bordy with a 3-run home run. 5 runs in the inning. It's now 9-4. Those 2 runs extra were charged to Guidry. We're going to close the book on him. He's going to give up 8 runs, all earned. For Jim Rice at his home run number 5 on the replay, RBIs 29, 30, and 31. And the Red Sox looking to blow this thing wide open if it hasn't been blown open already. It's now 9-4. And here's Baylor. 4-5, struck him out. Out number 2. And that sends up Dwight Evans. 6-9, and that is a strikeout. So back-to-back strikeouts after the home run, but the damage was done. That's like closing the barn door after the horses have already left. It is 9-4 after 4. Rich Bordy's going to be pitching probably the rest of this game because they don't want to burn their bullpen. And he has enough fatigue to finish the game. Because if, as a visiting team, if they're losing, they only got to cover 8 innings. So he's only got to cover 4 more innings. It all depends on what the Yankees do offensively, of course. But if it gets out of hand, he's going to be there needed to save that bullpen from overexposure. All right. We go to the top of the 5th. That was a long inning for Bruce Hurst to be on the bench, but here we go. Enricato, 1-9, and it's a 1-19 single. So here come the Yankees, but they got a long way to go. Might be a short time to get there too. I don't know. Here's Gary Ward, down 9-4. You're not running anywhere. So not gonna try anything. 4-10, fly ball center field X. We're looking at Ellis Burks. He's a 2E5, which should be just fine, you would think. 2 and a 6 should be no problem. 2 and a 6 is an F2. That's a 10. Usually 10s aren't much of a problem. E5 center fielder, no problem whatsoever. So the play is made by Ellis Burks, 1 away. Cotto will retreat to first, and here comes Winfield. He's singled and homered. Been one of the few Yankees that have actually done something in this game. 2-5, and this time he flies to center, out number 2. And that'll send up Ron Kittle. 5-8 for Kittle. Right-hander is a strikeout for Hurst, and that's his 4th strikeout of the game. So talk about a shutdown inning there. You can have it right there. We go to the bottom of the 5th. It's still 9-4 in favor of the Red Sox. Not exactly the close game I was hoping for, but you never know what the dice are going to say. And there are still 4 innings after this, so anything could happen. Here's Hindu, Dave Henderson, against Bordy, 6-6. That's another strikeout. So Bordy, after giving up the home run, is coming and strike out the next 3 he faces. Out number 1 for Spike Owen. 5-8, switch hitter batting left, and that's a base hit for Spike Owen. His first hit of the game. Comes Mark Sullivan, the catcher. He's 0 for 1 with a sacrifice hit. 2-7, and that's a strikeout. Yet another strikeout for Bordy. That's his 4th strikeout. And here comes Ellis Burks, back to the top of the order. And Ellis Burks is 3 for 3. 2 singles and a double. A couple of runs scored and a stolen base. About as much as a leadoff hitter you could expect. 1-6, and this time to split. 1-3 is a single. That's an 8. He's going to line it to short, and that's going to end the inning. So we played 5 complete here at Fenway Park, and the Red Sox lead it 9-4. And of course, the Tigers, Brewers, and Blue Jays are loving this result because that just pushes the Yankees further out of the pennant race. Here's Len Sakata. He will lead off. He's 2 for 2, actually. 1-8 rather, and they make him 3 for 3 with a base hit for Len Sakata. So Sakata 3 for 3, and that'll bring up Rick Cerrone. Again, unless the score gets closer, there will be no stolen base attempts. 6-3, and that is going to be a ballpark single, 1-15, base hit for Cerrone. It's going to put runners at first and second, nobody out. They always say, there's an old adage, the game is never over at Fenway Park, so we'll put that to the test right now. Here's Meacham. 310 for Meacham, and that's a split. 1 to 10 is a single. That's a 19. He will line it right to Spike Owen. 1 away. 1 down, and that will send up Wayne Tollison. Shortstop. He is 0 for 2. 2-6, and that's a walk. That will load the bases. That'll bring Randolph up with the bases loaded and only 1 out. Chance to do some damage and get his team back in the game. Randolph is 0 for 2, though. Six, 7, and that is going to be a 1 to 12 single. That's a 17. He's going to line it to short, out number 2. So 2 down, and now we got a clutch situation with Henry Cotto. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Chance for the Yankees to get back in this game. But it's going to be up to Cotto to do it, and he does gain a hit on 110 in the clutch. But he got a 210 instead, and that's a ground ball to short to end the inning, so they leave him loaded. Probably going to come back to bite him, leaving the bases loaded like that. We go to the bottom of the 6th. Still a 9-4 game. And for the Red Sox, the heart of the order, Barrett, Boggs, and Rice due up here in the bottom of the 6th against Rich Bordy. 4-5, and that's a strikeout for Bordy. That's his 5th strikeout in relief. Here's Wade Boggs. 3-7 for Boggs. That's a base on balls. First walk issued by Bordy. And that brings up Jim Rice. He had the big 3-run homer to greet Bordy when he came into the game in the bottom of the 4th in back of Guidry. 1's a wild pitch rating, Chance, but Bordy has a 0 wild pitch. 12 balk, but a 0 wild pitch, so no wild pitch. Rice 3-2. That's a Lomax, and that's going to end the inning. It's also a possible injury on Jim Rice. Lomax to third base. So he's going to line it. Will Rice. He lines it to Sakata. Sakata will throw over to first to double off Boggs for the double play. And now we'll see if Jim Rice can continue or whether or not he has to go. We shall find out. Let's go to our injury chart and roll that D20 and see if Rice can stay in the game or whether he's got to leave. So 1 to 6, he can stay in the game. 7 or higher, he's got to come out. And he can stay in the game. So Rice will stay in the game. Does end the inning. We go to the top of the 7th. Score still 9-4. Favor of the Red Sox. And actually, Boston might go to the bench anyway for a better fielder than Rice because Rice is not a very good fielder. So let's see, do they have – actually don't have anybody that can play. Only outfielder they have on the bench I can see is Greenwell, and he's just as bad as Jim Rice is. So I think we're going to just stick with Rice. Oh, I'm sorry. Benziger has been added to the roster. I was waiting for him to get added, and he's finally been added according to the Strat computer. According to the Strat computer, he has been added. Todd Benziger is finally here. So Benziger is here. Which means he is available to come in and pinch hit, defensive substitutions, whatever. He hit 278 on the season, so I think we're going to make some moves here. We're going to put Benziger at first base. So in place of Rice, we got Benziger. He will be at first base. Henderson will move from right field to left field, and Evans will move to right field from first base where he belongs all along anyway. So Rice will go ahead and leave after all, and Benziger will bat in Rice's cleanup spot. So Benziger is going to come on to play first base in the 7th inning right here. And Rice will leave. Evans will move from from first base to right field. Henderson will go from right field to left field, and it helps their defense. So let's make those changes on the computer. Benziger coming on. This will be his debut game. And we're ready to start the 7th. And this is the fatigue inning for Bruce Hurst, so we'll keep an eye on that. He'll be facing Ward, Winfield, and Cotto, heart of the order for the Yankees in this 9-4 ball game. There will be a 7th inning stretch after this half inning because I desperately need to heat my coffee. And I need to stretch a little bit too. 2-10, and that's going to be a solid single for Gary Ward. So the Boston bullpen starting to stir a bit. Looking down in their bullpen, looks like they have left-handed action. Tom Bolton is loosening in their bullpen, another lefty. So Bolton is in the bullpen. Here's Winfield. It's a 5-7. That's a ground ball, second base X. Second base is Barrett. They're not holding Ward on, so he keeps his 2E11. This could be a double play. 2 and a 16. That's definitely a G1. Could be a Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play. As long as there's no error, and that's a 10. That's a pretty good sign there won't be an error. Nope, no error there. So 16 and a 2 is a G1, and we have our third Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play of the game. First two were 6-4-3. This is the first one that goes the opposite way, 4-6-3. But either way, it is a rally killer as Winfield hits into that twin killing. And now here's Ron Kittle. 4-7 for Kittle. Ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Spike Owen. Owen is a 3E17. 3 and 11. Should not be a problem. It is not. That's a 7, and he is an E17 at short. There is no 7 there, so good play for Owen, and that will end the inning. So Hurst is going to at least make it 7 innings. Might pitch into the 8th. He's got some endurance. And he's got a 5-run lead, so they may push the envelope a little bit with him. Bolton is sat down. I think they've got a right-hander loosening the bullpen now if Hurst should falter. But Bordy's out there to carry the load for the Yankee bullpen and save the rest of their staff for the rest of the series. Here's Don Baylor. 5-3, and that's a ground ball third base X. We're looking at Sakata. He's a 3E34 at third base. 3 and a 7. Should still get to that. He does. That's a 13, and he is an E34. There's no 13. He got lucky. 6, 9, 12, 15, 14, and 17 are errors, but not 13. So Sakata is able to make the play. Oh, you know what? I forgot to go to the 7th inning stretch. My bad. You know what? We're just going to move on then. I already blew it. So we're not going to go to the 7th inning stretch. We're just going to keep rolling. I'll get coffee later. All right, here is Dwight Evans. I already had 2 cups. I'm not too bad. Evans, 5-9. And that's an in-home run again. Same thing that got him with Jim Rice is going to get him with Dewey Evans. In-home run on Rich Bordy. It's gone. Dwight Evans connects. Makes it a 10-4 good buddy game. Get your CB radios out. Home run Dewey Evans, number 15 on the replay. RBI number 47. He had 34 homers real world, but he gets it here on that 5-9 and home run. Straight up, no D20 needed. And now it's 10-4. 6-5 is a ground ball shortstop X. We're looking at Tollison, 3E22. 3 and an 8, but that's an 18. That's got error written all over it. 3 and an 8, he'll get to it, but that 18 is really rough. E22 shortstop, and an 18 is a 2-base error on Wayne Tollison. Those 18s are almost always 2-base errors. So the home run is followed up by a two-base error on Wayne Tollison. And the Yankees kind of falling apart here. Here's Spike Owen. Can't blame Bordy on that one, though. That was just a bad play by Tollison. 3-11, and that's going to be a ballpark single check. 1-13, and that's a base hit. 1 star is going to put runners on the corners. And that brings up Mark Sullivan. Infield looking for the double play against Mr. Sullivan. 5-10. That's a ballpark single check, though. 1-15. That's a base hit for Sullivan. Fenway Park's doing it to the Yankees again. It's now 11-4. 11-4 Red Sox. Hey, Jeff, I do play NL games. I will be playing a lot of NL games in the NBC Game of the Week. It's going to be mix and match there. So, but no, as far as the 87, no, I'm not playing any more NL games. I just don't have time for that. So, got to stick to the 87 American League so I can get through this replay. Here's Ellis Burks. (6-8), and that's going to be an in-home run chance. 1-4. It's a 10. It'll be a triple for Ellis Burks. He had 2 triples in the real season. 2 triples in the real season. This is triple number 4 already for Ellis Burks. He's loading up on triples. So it's a triple for Ellis Burks. And 40 is tired, but they're going to try to at least get him through the inning, and maybe they'll use Rick Cerrone to pitch the 8th. Wouldn't be a bad idea. Save the bullpen, use Rick Cerrone. All right, here's Barrett. Infield is in. These 2 runs have scored. So another 4-score Abraham Lincoln inning right now. It's 13-4. Infield is in. 5-11. That's a ballpark single check, and at Fenway Park, it's almost always a hit, and there it is right here. Now it's 14-4. 5 runs in the inning. And here's Wade Boggs. That's a 2-5 for Boggs, and mercifully, it's a tailor-made Giovanni's Tailor Shop tailor-made double play again. 4-6-3. That's going to get him out of the inning. 5 runs across, and Rick Cerrone, they're telling him, take your catching gear off and get ready to warm up because you're going to pitch the 8th inning. Rick Cerrone will pitch the 8th inning. So Boggs grounds into the 4-6-3 DP. And now, what do we do with Hurst? We're going to let Hurst keep going, I guess. Sakata will bat. He's 3 for 3. 4-3. Ground ball first base X. That is Benzinger. And Benzinger at first base is a 4.E25, same as Evans. 4-19, he'll get to it. E25 and an 11 at first base. There's an 11 right there, so Benzinger is going to boot it. E3. Sloppy game for the Red Sox, despite their hitting. Their fielding has been very, very, very bad. 3rd error of the game on the Red Sox. But when you have 17 hits and 14 runs, that kind of covers a lot of sins. Here's Cerrone. 6-10, and that's a catcher X. That's Sullivan. Sullivan on the catcher X. Sullivan's a 3E1. 3-16 should be a pop out of some sort. Foul out, pop out, something. Let's see here. 3-16 is a foul out. E1, not going to have a problem with E1, so it is a foul out. 1 away, and here's Meacham. 2-5 for Meacham, and that's another Giovanni's Tailor Shop. Taylor made double play. Boy, they're getting their money's worth on this one, even though it's costing them nothing for that free advertising. Another 6-4-3 double play. It's going to end the inning. Another double play. We go to the bottom of the 8th. New pitcher is going to be Rick Cerrone. The new catcher will be Mark Salas. So Salas will come into the game to catch here in the 8th inning. So Salas will catch. Cerrone will now pitch. And now Randolph is gone from the DH slot. He is not available. So Mark Salas will take over at his spot. And he will bat leadoff, which means he's going to bat second next inning. So let's go into the Yankee bullpen. Rick Cerrone does have his own pitcher card because he did pitch in real world. Rick Cerrone. Oh, you know what? They're going to, okay. And let's cancel. Since he's already in the game catching, I've got to do this a little bit differently, apparently, on the computer. So we're going to make Cerrone into a pitcher. Or will it let me do that? Let's see. Maybe I've got to take and put Salas. Let's see how I'm going to do this. This is going to be interesting to see how what the computer lets me do and what it doesn't let me do. Let's see. This is going to be interesting. I'm not sure. The computer is really not allowing me to do what I want it to do. Since Cerrone is given his own pitcher card, it's treating him like two separate players. So it's letting me put Salas straight in as the catcher and keep Randolph as the DH. I don't think that's really right. But, you know, what are you going to do? So we'll play it as we can play it. All right, so up for the Red Sox is Todd Benzinger. First, we'll get the numbers on Bordy, which were not good, but he did eat up innings, which was the main objective. When the game's out of hand, you eat up innings, save your bullpen. So Bordy goes 3 2/3. He's going to give up 7 hits, 6 runs, 5 of them earned, walked 1, struck out 5. And if we get a result off the pitcher on 4, 5, or 6, I'll have to read off the computer what Cerrone's pitching card shows, because it won't be on the here, obviously. So he'll be facing Benzinger to lead things off, and this will be Benzinger's first at bat since being called up from the minors. On the real season, Benzinger hit .278 with 8 home runs. Let's see what he does against the right-hander Cerrone. And, of course, it comes off the pitcher card. So I got to go to the pitcher card and look. Benzinger is a switch hitter. So on the computer, 6-2 on Rick Cerrone's pitching card is a fly to center field. So that's 1 away. Now we go to Dwight Evans, right fielder. I'm sorry, it should be Baylor, not Evans. Don't want to bat him out of order. It should be Baylor. And actually, the Red Sox might bring up a pinch hitter just to give somebody an at-bat. Since the game's so out of hand, let's give somebody an at-bat that might need one. Maybe even if you don't need one, put him in there anyway, I guess. They'll let Rich Gedman get an at-bat. Why not? So Rich Gedman's going to come on and pinch hit for Don Baylor, just for the heck of it. Gedman on the replay is hitting .176, no homers, 12 driven in. He hit .205 real world. Whoa, we got hop and dice. Let's re-roll that again. 6-8. Again, we're off of Cerrone on a 6-8. That is another fly ball to center field B. 2 fly balls to center off of Rick Cerrone's pitcher card. And now that brings up Dewey Evans, the right fielder. Did homer his last time up. 4-8. We're off Cerrone's card again. 4-8 is a walk. So he will walk Dewey Evans. And that'll bring up Henderson. Henderson. .612. Again, we're off that. It's a ground ball pitcher X. Now, what is Cerrone's error rating as a pitcher? The computer has him as a 2E12 as a pitcher, but it's a ground ball pitcher X. He's a 2E12. 2 and a 20, he'll get to that. E12 and a 10 shouldn't be a problem, I don't think. Let me check here. E12. Nope, there's no 10 there, so it will be a good play to end the inning. As Cerrone will get an assist as a pitcher. And we go to the 9th inning. Score still 14-4. Cerrone's going to go 1 inning, give up a walk, nothing else. But by using Bordy and Cerrone, they saved all their better pitchers for the rest of the series. So now for the Yankees, it'll be Tollison Salas. Tollison Salas. Tollison Salas and Cotto are your scheduled hitters. And the Red Sox, rather, I think are going to cap Hurst at 8 innings and just bring in a schlub to pitch the 9th. They might bring in Schiraldi because I think he actually needs some work. See if he's underused here. Schiraldi. Yeah, he definitely needs some work. So it's a non-safe situation, obviously, but he hasn't pitched in a while, so they're going to need Calvin Schiraldi just to stay sharp. So Schiraldi will come on and pitch. Bruce Hurst is going to go 8 innings. Will go to the computer to get his numbers fully. A bad first inning, but he really corrected it after that for sure and hung in there for 8 innings. I was not expecting that to happen after the top of the first. 8 innings, 9 hits, 4 runs, 3 of which were earned, 2 walks and 4 strikeouts. And of course, he will improve to 4 and 8 when this is over. Schiraldi on the real season was 8 and 5 with a 4.41 ERA and 6 saves. On the replay, he is 3 and 4 with 7 saves and a 4.55 ERA. Yankees will do some pinch hitting. Why not? Since the righty is in there now, they'll go to some left-handed pinch hitting that was sitting on the bench. So Mike Pagliarulo will hit for Tollison. So we're going to have Pagliarulo, Salas, and then Claudel Washington will hit for Henry Cotto as they bring out their lefties. All right, so we're going to have Pagliarulo and then Salas, and then we're going to have Claudel Washington. Pags, Salas, and Washington, your scheduled hitters. Top of the 9th, 14-4. Schiraldi. Well, I got to bring in Pagliarulo on the computer for the Yankees. On the replay, Pagliarulo is hitting .232, 17 homers, 36 driven in at .234 real world. Schiraldi, 3.9 to Pags. And a 3.9 is a 1-4 triple. That's a 17. He will fly to right field. And there's one away. And that'll bring up the catcher, Mark Salas. So Salas is in, and we'll get the numbers on Salas. Salas is hitting 140 on the replay. 2 homers, 8 driven in at .250 real world. 6.8. 6.8 is going to be a strikeout. So he struck him out. 2 down. And that'll take us to Claudell Washington. Bringing Claudell Washington to finish it out, pinch hitting for Cotto. And if we look at the numbers on Washington, he's hitting .339 on the replay, 2 homers, 16 driven in. He at .279 real world. 3-4 for Claudell, and he's going to pop it up to first, and it's an easy 1-2-3 inning for Calvin Schiraldi. He gets an inning of work in, takes care of the Yankees, and it's a 14-4 Red Sox whitewashing of the Yankees. And we go to the computer and get the gory details. Wrap things up and get you set for tomorrow's game. The Yankees take another loss. They drop to 38-29. Red Sox 26-40. 14 runs, 17 hits, and 3 errors for the Red Sox. 4 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error for the Yankees. Winning pitcher Bruce Hurst, he's now 4-8. Losing pitcher Ron Guidry, he's 1-1. His ERA has skyrocketed to 8.31 in the replay. And player of the game, well, you could give it to Bruce Hurst if you like. Offensively for the Red Sox, though, I'm thinking about either Burks or Barrett. Burks went 4 for 5. 3 runs scored and 2 runs batted in. Barrett went 4 for 5 with 2 runs scored and 3 runs batted in. So we look at our players of the game. I'm giving co-players of the game to these 2 guys, Burks and Barrett, for their combined 8 for 10 with 5 runs batted in and 5 runs scored. And throw in a stolen base for good measure from Ellis Burks. So your co-players of the game are Ellis Burks and Marty Barrett. As we look ahead to tomorrow on the schedule, tomorrow's game, game number 449 on the replay, we will actually be in Baltimore. It'll be the Detroit Tigers and the Baltimore Orioles. Jack Morris for the Tigers against Dave Schmidt for the Orioles. That'll be tomorrow. Wednesday will be in Toronto. It'll be Milwaukee at Toronto, Teddy Higuera and John Cerruti. And then on Thursday, we will be in Minnesota. It'll be the White Sox and the Twins, Rich Dotson against Les Straker. And then Friday, most likely Friday will be Kansas City at California, Danny Jackson and Don Sutton. So that's the tentative schedule for the rest of the week. And that's the way it flows. So appreciate everybody who stuck around despite the blowout in this one. Yankees with that loss, well, their playoff, their standings are dropping and dropping the further we go. For the Yankees now, they have lost 2 in a row. And they are now 6.5 games behind Milwaukee. And in fact, the Tigers are only a half game back. If the Tigers beat Baltimore tomorrow, they will tie the Yankees for third place. So while the Yankees are pursuing Toronto, Milwaukee, they got to look behind them because Detroit's ready to pass them. So that's the way it is. So tomorrow's game, that's where we will be. We'll be in Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. It'll be the Tigers and the Orioles, Jack Morris against Dave Schmidt. So until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.